All right, let's dive right in. If you're a technical or product builder working on organizational systems, you already know the struggle, right? Institutional memory is almost always scattered across files, spreadsheets, private messages, and, well, just floating around in people's heads. Today, we're breaking down the Neurodiversity Foundation's blueprint for actually solving this. We're going to look at how NDF is turning scattered organizational memory into a highly structured, permission-aware contribution system known as the second brain, and how all of that connects to their upcoming WayFinder platform. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering the core architecture, truth and permissions, intelligence and prompts, governance and repair, and finally, the WayFinder production target. Let's get to it. Section 1. The core architecture. Okay, so take a look at this strict flow of authority. Step 1. Google Drive stores the canonical truth. The AI is not the source of truth, your canonical documents are. Step 2. Gemini helps find and work across it. Step 3. Notebook LM deeply analyzes curated collections. And finally, Step 4. WayFinder operationalizes it, essentially giving the right truth and action path to the right user. But here is a massive warning for you builders out there. Notebook LM, it is strictly a validation environment. It's an amazing test bed for sure, but it is not intended to be the final production backend for WayFinder. That's going to require its own server-side authorization and typed tools. To keep the AI totally focused, NDF actually uses 5 completely separate, curated brains in Notebook LM. The core brain handles governance and structure, communications handles tone and advocacy, research covers evidence and fellow programs, ND Pride separates evergreen principles from annual dated events, and the WayFinder brain handles product logic and permissions. Isolation is absolutely key here. It essentially prevents a highly specific rule in one department from cross-contaminating general organizational facts. Moving right along to Section 2. Truth and permissions. So, how does the system handle time and reality? Well, it explicitly separates information into current, historical, planned, and unknown. To put that into perspective, think about a planned leadership transition. Say a document notes that a new chair is taking over in September. Well, if it's now October, the AI must not automatically assume that transition actually happened. A planned date does not equal a verified transition. Reality has to be verified and the source updated first. Now, what about visibility? It's definitely not a free-for-all. Knowledge is strictly tagged for public, contributor, leadership, or restricted access. Notice applicant sitting down there at the bottom? That is not a broad knowledge access tier. An applicant only has a lifecycle exception to view their own application record and literally nothing more. A user's role dictates exactly what organizational truth they are permitted to retrieve. Section 3. Intelligence and prompts. The soul and agency layer. We obviously don't want a sterile compliance bot, but we also really can't have hallucinating AI. So we use a strict governing hierarchy. Truth determines what WayFinder may claim, permissions determine what WayFinder may reveal or do, NDF's organizational DNA determines why it responds, and the brand tone determines how it responds. This perfectly keeps the system grounded in factual discipline while maintaining its unique character. And this phrase brilliantly illustrates that exact philosophy. Invent the possibility. Do not invent the evidence. Look, warmth can enrich a conversation and creativity can absolutely expand on ideas. But under no circumstances can the AI manufacture missing facts, invent maimed owners, or fabricate scientific methods just to sound more credible. So how do we actually execute this? It relies on a prompt library built on a simple principle. Discover first, prompt second. Ordinary users aren't typing out prompt names. Instead, a natural language goal hits a router. The router silently selects a hidden work mode, checks permissions and missing context, retrieves the permitted current sources, and then answers, usually offering 0 to 3 genuinely useful next actions. Let's talk actual validation metrics for this. Out of 392 active candidate work modes currently curated at the design baseline, exactly 128 are individually approved at version 0.7.3. This includes all Tier 1 critical modes and a really good representative coverage of Tier 2 high-risk modes. Now, we are not implying that all 392 are individually validated just yet. Representative testing ensures we cover risk families without manually testing hundreds of near duplicates. Section 4. Governance and repair. As a builder, you've got to maintain 3 primary governance artifacts to keep things healthy. The decision register records actual NDF decisions so old, drafted ideas don't secretly start competing with new realities. The source health dashboard tracks who owns a document and if it is actually current.
And the second brain feedback log captures real user issues. When things go wrong, and you know they will, you use this repair loop. First, identify the user problem, then diagnose the layer. This is absolutely vital. You have to differentiate between a prompt quality issue where a rule is missing versus a retrieval issue where the rule exists but the AI still pulled a bad fact from an outdated document. You repair the correct layer, and then you run a regression test. You don't just chat with the AI to correct it, you actually fix the underlying root cause.
Finally, Section 5, the WayFinder production target. Let's set those operational boundaries. WayFinder prepares, humans decide. This is literally the golden rule for our operational boundary. When a user interacts with the system and their application is accepted, that acceptance only creates a contributor status. It does not automatically grant external access, assign a role, create a task, or magically open a WhatsApp group. The AI organizes the request, sure, but human authority gates the consequential action. Here's the exact target production pattern you're building toward. Step 1, the AI prepares the action. Step 2, the user reviews it. Step 3, the server validates it. Step 4, an authorized operation commits it, leading to Step 5, a persistent result. The server, not the LLM, and definitely not the front-end chat state, is your ultimate operational source of truth. The language model must never directly write arbitrary state to your database.
Because of that, we have to draw a hard line here on truthful operations. Manual operations happening behind the scenes, totally acceptable. Fake automation in front of the user, absolutely unacceptable. The UI must never tell a user application approved or message sent unless the database actually persisted that result.
To finally replace that NotebookLM testbed, you've got some residual technical integrations to knock out. You need residual prompt validation, source hygiene, and permission-aware production retrieval, where visibility metadata is enforced before the model even gets context. Plus, you need typed tools, a robust queue for human actions, the runtime implementation of the prompt discovery router, and of course, strict server-side audit logs.
So wrapping it all up, WayFinder turns intention into understanding, contribution, and continuity, while keeping truth, permissions, and human authority totally intact. You aren't replacing human governance with AI, you're just making contribution a whole lot easier to navigate.
Which brings us to the ultimate operational rule for anyone architecting this system. AI prepares, humans decide. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and good luck with the build.